Hey everyone, this is Andrew Stansberry. I know that this video is a little different than what I would normally do. Normally I would just upload short films and that's it, but I decided that I wanted to do something different. And since I'm doing this senior project of mine of creating a video game prototype, I figured that I might want to document it. This is also inspired by, what was his name? Shoot. Yeah, it was inspired by Cody Wanner's hashtag no small November challenge, which basically is do something for the month of November and then document it at least 3 times a week. At least that's how I understand it. It was recommended to me by a friend. Check out her channel, link in the description, I guess. Her channel is called B is Here Footh, and really great person. You should totally look at her. And yeah, let's just go ahead. And so, yeah, I am going to be making a video game prototype of sorts, and I'm making it in Unity. So as you can see here, like, I haven't got much of anything right now. I haven't really worked in Unity until like August-ish. So ever since then, I've been learning all that I can about doing this game. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking game design is my passion. Video games have been my life, so this is kind of what I wanted to do. So as you can see right here, the only thing that I have made so far. I'm sorry, I'm moving the webcam out of the way. Is basically I have it so that I can control this guy using the arrow keys. He's got this idle animation going, and I can move him around like this. Oh, I thought I fixed that animation. Oh, dang it. I must not have saved from last time I worked on it. Oh well. Does that mean... No, I could still have him jump. That's good. There's a couple of things that I still need to do. Like for instance, if I'm going forwards and then I hold down jump, I won't move forwards anymore unless I let go of the forwards button. Like that. Oh, or of the jump button actually, it looks like. Right, because oh no, it has to be let go of the jump button. And that just has to do with programming real quick. So I'm actually using this this add-on called GameFlow, which really helps. It's a visual scripter that kind of looks like a component with Unity. And I know there's a lot of stuff here, but basically I think, yeah, so this if move forward is just like, this is the if place where I put the move forward stuff. And right now it's saying that I have to, if the up arrow is pressed and the left shift, which is run, and space, which is jump, are both up, then I move forwards by basically moving forwards a certain amount every frame, more or less. I wish I could do it time.delta time, which is basically it moves that much forward every second instead of every frame. That way it's more stable. But I haven't figured out how to do that using GameFlow yet. So then basically what I just need to do, because I've already done this, I just need to take out the having to hold down space. And then I think I'm doing this right. I should be able, yep. Okay, so now I can hold down jump, and he still moves forwards, like that. Which is really neat. And of course down here, I've got all of my animation, excuse me, including walking, turning left and right, jumping, and running. Now, you may be wondering why the camera's off to the side. Last time I was here, I was in the middle of attaching it in a different way, by using this script down here, actually. So I think if I just do it like that, then yeah, so it does do this, but then it doesn't rotate with it. So an easy way to get rid of that is actually to just take the camera item or object and place it into the player model. That way, when you go in, it's basically attached to the player model, so anything that the player model does, the camera does. So any kind of rotation or whatever. This is the easiest way to do it. The hard part is whenever it doesn't matter what direction it goes. So if there's some kind of physics thing or whatever that would have it fall over or like fling around a bunch of times, then that would also do it. Also, from my plan for this game is to have it be a dual joystick, so to be able to move the camera independently. I still have yet to figure out how to do that exactly, and this is kind of the thing that I've noticed while I've been making this, is that there's a lot of stuff with coding that you would think would just be easy. That like, oh yeah, just walk forward by pressing a button. That's like a single command, isn't it? It's really not. Like, if I could go back into the player model code, and this is using a visual scripter, mind you. If I were to use actually writing out the script word by word, it would be a lot more complicated. I would have to remember how to type everything down, what everything meant. But right now, basically what I have, I'll just work through it here real quick. Actually, sorry, I had to turn off notifications. Is that if I want to move forwards, I have to check first to see if the up button is pressed, which makes sense, and the run button, which is left shift, is not pressed. Because if it is pressed, we want him to run. Now, from that point, excuse me. Okay, so from that point, we have to do a bunch of stuff with the animations, which are down here. And like, there's a bunch of arrows and stuff, but basically, this is saying that, hey, we need to tell the game that we want to play the walk animation by doing this, and we do not want to play the idle animation, which is this. Then we can move him, which is basically moving him on the z-axis, 0.05 meters, I think it is, and that's basic. And it's so small because all the objects are actually really small, unintentionally so. In space self just means that it's in relative to himself and not the world around him. That just makes it easier. And then I also make sure that he's not playing the turn right animation or the turn left animation or the run animation. And that's just for moving forwards. If we want to stop moving, we have to make sure that the up arrow isn't pressed, the down arrow, the right arrow, the left arrow, or the space bar isn't pressed. Nothing is pressed. The run button can be pressed, actually, because if you're running without moving, then you're just standing still. And then we make sure that the idle animation is playing and no other animation is playing. And there's a lot of stuff with that, and that's just dealing with this right now. And then like, oh yeah, that was actually that wasn't something. The force thing here is for the jump, actually. This is another thing that a lot of things tend to repeat themselves. So like, if I wanted to jump, I could just have the add force thing, but then I need to define what that force is. So for instance, I have, okay, add force to the player one model, which is what I'm editing, and add the force that is force, which is down here, and the direction is up for 20, magnitude is 20, scale is kind of just the multiplier, anchor, I don't know what that does yet. And then again, multiplier up here if you wanted to adjust it manually from there. And then you can have different modes, which I don't really know what that does. Impulse is just like a one-time thing, I guess. Velocity change is like, instead of adding a force to it, it's changing its speed. So that's kind of interesting. And then acceleration is acceleration. Then I've also had this thing where in order for you to not infinitely double jump, I've actually incorporated a timer. As you can see down here, the duration is 0.7 seconds, which is about the time that it takes for him to complete one jump. And so what I've done is that when he is in the air, let's see. So when I've pressed the space button, the timer basically starts. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, here it says if the spacebar is just pressed, has just been pressed, and the timer has already expired for doing it again, then it changes the animation to jump, it adds the force, and it restarts the timer. And what that means is that anytime that I jump, it starts the timer for zero point 0.7 seconds, and I cannot press it again until the timer has expired, because that's one of the conditions for being able to execute this command. And then I also have another thing that says if it has not expired, then don't add any force to it, which is just, you know, it seems like it's unnecessary, but it is necessary. If I didn't have this, then I'm pretty sure I would just be able, yeah, I would just be able to basically jump in, well, not infinitely, but it is the kind of thing that's like, it is good to have just in case something fails. So yeah, so on the surface, it doesn't seem like a lot. In fact, it's not. It's just him moving around, walking and jumping, but it's the start of something. Now, I'll talk in a different video as to what I kind of want this game to be. But basically, the core idea of it right now is that it is a three-dimensional fighter. They would have weapons, and they would hit each other with them. Like, it would just be as simple as like a sword and shield or something. And I've got a lot of ideas. I've written a lot of documents going over it, so very excited to see how this turns out. But for now, this is what I've got. It's not much, but it's something. And it doesn't look good, but a lot of stuff in the background is happening right now. A lot of building blocks are being made. A lot of it is being learned so that I can quickly do a bunch of this stuff in the future. For instance, one thing I'm wanting to incorporate is a wall run. Doing the stuff that I'm doing now, it's become a lot easier to do that once I create the animations. Oh, also, I've had to create these animations by going through and doing each one of these keyframes here is to aid to the animation. So like, we look at this, like every single frame, I mean, to go through and edit the position of every single one, mind you, because all of these down here are like individual parts that I've had to rotate, and I've even had to figure out like how to move the pivot point for that, and that was a whole separate thing where I had to actually get a separate program that wasn't a part of Unity just so that I could move it to make it easier on me to animate. So it's crazy, and eventually, once I get my own model, which is being provided to me by a friend, she's actually the person I talked about earlier. B is here. Futh, she's actually helping me with this. So yeah, fun stuff. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. I will keep working on it and update you with whatever little things I have now, but right now, just showing you what I have to start with. And we'll see what happens in the future, you know? Okay, well, I will see you guys in the next video. That was creepy.